All right. Welcome back to the desk.
Welcome back.
Live and in person here.
Yeah, good to have you here
Hey,
with us.
good to see you, bud. Well, it's Market Monday.
Absolutely.
And what do we got on the docket today?
Today we're doing the late round flyers.
Okay.
There's different ways to get value wins. You can do it structurally, right? You can take
Yep.
rookie picks and they're going to go up in value. You can find those breakout players.
Mm-hmm.
If you last year you had Pickens or JSN, you're getting somebody that jumps up in value. But the other cool way is to find those, 15th to 20th to even 25th round
Yep.
players that end up turning into a value win. So last year, Christian Watson, I think I drafted him in the 20th round. Daniel Jones in the 25th round. You had Bill Merritt, JCM, right, in one of the leagues.
Yeah, I took and Johnson, New Orleans tight end, ended up being a
Jawan
top
Johnson.
10 guy. So I took him like 21st
Yeah.
round or something.
So, I mean, these are guys that you can basically get as a throw-in
Yeah.
on a deal, right? If you've got a trade you're doing and you spot one of these guys on somebody else's roster, it's probably not going to move the deal that much to just say, hey, toss this guy in, and, if they want to get a random 20th round guy off your bench too,
Sure.
so be it.
Yep. Exactly. All right. I like it. I like it. So who are we kicking off with here?
I think first up we should do Chris Rodriguez, former Washington Commander, now with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
I love the opportunity here. We've talked before about how Bayshaw Tootin is now up in the late 7th,
Yeah.
8th, at worst, early 9th round of startup drafts.
Yep.
And I love Tootin. I got a lot of shares of Bayshaw Tootin.
I was gonna say you're a Tootin guy. You're like a Jacksonville running back fiend now.
Yeah. But the thing is, okay, this backfield could be productive. And Chris Rodriguez is going as like the player 250 or something like that on Keep Trade Cut. He's like the running back 60. And he just got a 2-year, $10 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's getting paid what Tyler Algier's getting paid, what Rico Dowdle's getting paid.
Right.
And you can legitimately get him in the 19th, 20th round of startups. He's a total
Yep.
throw in. And I mean, he's efficient. The last 3 years with the Commanders, he's gotten 4.5 yards per carry each of the last 3 seasons.
And the Commanders' offensive line wasn't anything to be impressed
No,
by.
it wasn't special. And, I'm not saying that he's going to come in here and crush Tootin, but I think a 1A, 1B situation is totally realistic. And if you've got a 20th round pick that starting week 1 is like a guy you could put in your flex spot and not hate it, certainly when those injury weeks come in, I'm all about it.
And I don't see anybody behind those two guys in Jacksonville that are going to make a push.
Oh, it's LaQuint Allen.
And what, JC, like Dallas or something? Like
It's nobody. And even if they took a rookie running back, they're not going to take Jeremiah Love.
No.
So anybody else in this class, I don't think is going to displace Chris Rodriguez. I mean, they're paying him $5 million a year. He's going to play.
Right. All right. I like it. Well, my first guy is somebody who just joined the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. Well, we've got the Commanders.
Yeah, I
banner
mean,
up
are we
here.
biased? Absolutely. But Rachaad White. So somebody who is coming into a situation where the running back room's open.
Yeah.
I mean, Krosky Merritt had a fine last year, but it's not like he's a clear number one favorite.
Nope.
Rachaad White has had 60-plus pass-catching seasons. He could be a third down back. He's a good blocker. I think he's in an offense that is going to be better this year after a down year.
Yep.
The Commanders are poised to have a bounce-back year. They're going to have an easier schedule. They're going to have a, God help us, healthy Jaden Daniels.
Fingers crossed.
Cheese and flip. I don't think their off-season's done with getting a little more offensive firepower.
Yep.
And I think White is a good, solid addition. And somebody who you're going to get 15th round plus.
Yeah. He's Keep Trade Cut. He's player 200.
Yeah.
So, that's an 18th,
18th,
17th,
yeah.
18th round pick. Basically free. There's a chance, I think, that the Commanders go Jeremiah Love. and that really nukes both of these guys.
Then we'll just delete this video and I'll take somebody else. So,
But I mean, at worst, it's a 18th round pick, and frankly, Jeremiah Love, even if he joins the Commanders, is not going to take 100% of the snaps in his rookie season. And Rachaad White would be the guy that you bring in to spell him.
I think Krosky Merritt takes more of a hit with a Jeremiah Love edition than Rachaad White does with the Jeremiah Love edition.
Yep.
I mean, clearly his production could diminish some, but he's the veteran back here.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Similar to what you just said about Rodriguez, we signed White for a reason.
Yep.
He's going to get his touches and his share. I don't see that diminishing.
Yeah.
And I think he's coming in this year to a better situation than last year's Tampa was with all the injuries Tampa Bay faced.
Yeah.
So I like it. I think White's a good pickup if you can get him late this year or you can get him cheap in a trade.
Yeah, as a throw in a deal, it's perfect. In the 18th round of your startups, it's perfect. You could be getting the RB1 for the Commanders in the 18th round.
So that's
yeah, we'll take that.
Absolutely.
Similarly to your take on an offense that we think is going to have some positive regression, I like Jalen McMillan for the Bucks. And actually, this guy has probably climbed up a little bit past my 15th round criteria. I think when we started brainstorming this video, he was down there at wide receiver 70 or something like that, pick 150, 170. But now he's starting to creep up towards the 13th round, 12th round. I think that's probably closer to his actual value. I don't know that I'd go out and necessarily pursue him at like 10th round startup value.
Right.
But he's a guy that looked good in 2024, looked like a guy who could get open. He actually doubled his yards per route run in 2025. Despite all of the injuries, despite being moved to the wide receiver 4 in his own offense, which now, since Mike Evans is gone, he's probably moving to the wide receiver 3, and he's one Godwin injury away from being the wide receiver 2.
Which...
It's probably going to happen. I mean, historically, Godwin's...
That's going to happen.
Yeah. So I like it. I like the Tampa Bay offense as a regression candidate, and he's the cheapest guy that you can go out and get there. Bucky Irving's not cheap. Egbuka's not cheap. And I think Godwin's probably fairly placed at his 10th round value or whatever.
Yeah, and McMillan has a lot of years left. Godwin could be a guy where if you're making a push for it this year and you think this is the year where
the chance.
Well, the back half of the year is going to be Godwin healthy and not injured, then shoot. Yeah, but I like McMillan.
You've got a tight end.
I have a tight end. Similar because I hit on Johnson last year.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to just like rinse and repeat the same thing. So I like Chig. I mean, it's the Commanders offense again, which I don't know. Maybe I'm just only doing Commanders. We'll see. Stay tuned later in the video. But this is a yards after catch fiend.
Yep.
And the Commanders no longer have a tight end one. I mean, Zach Ertz is... May he walk again one day. And even if they draft a tight end, which I think there's a good chance they do, tight ends are never that productive year one.
Yeah.
I mean, Warren came out hot last year, but then kind of faded. Loveland came in not hot and, caught it near the end. But regardless, I don't see he's our tight end one.
Yeah.
Regression offense. A lot of leagues have a tight end bonus. I know both of the Dynasty leagues I'm in have tight end bonuses. This is a guy who I think could really rack up catches, yards, touchdowns. I don't know yet. To me, that's the question mark about him is he hasn't proven to be this like massive touchdown machine. He's kind of smaller on the tight end size, but the dude runs a 4.54, 40. So if the Commanders play him in the right situation, which I think they went out and signed him because they want to, who do you have to guard him? Like, he's too big for a generic cornerback, and he's too fast for a generic linebacker. So I think I see him as almost like a solid tight end, but also like that gadget player that Debo, we wanted Debo to be last year. Points. Yeah,
I think
catches
so.
and points.
I think they could line him up in the backfield for some sneaky plays. I think he could see a lot of seam routes. I think their play action game is going to be better this year than it was last year.
Jaden's going to be under center. I think you could run 2 tight end sets with him.
Yep.
Sennett's a blocking tight end. I think you bring him in, and it gets to the point of like, well, who guards him?
Yep.
And if it's a linebacker, he can outrun him, and if it's a cornerback, he's still bigger than that. So
Yep.
I like it. I think he's somebody who you can get very late in a draft or a throw in, as you were mentioning earlier. And I really believe I think he's going to be a top 10 tight end this year in fantasy football.
Yeah, I think he just went in the 16th round of a startup that we did. I'd pay easily 13th or 14th round price for him, just straight up. And
And when you look at tight end scoring the last few years, it's like, Bowers, McBride, boom. And even last year, it was just McBride.
Yeah.
And then there's not a lot of deviation between the next sets of tight ends.
Yeah.
So if I can snag somebody late or get somebody in a throw in with a trade who's going to give me almost the same as Ferguson, who popped off for Dallas last year, or Kraft for Green Bay until his knee gave,
injury,
then what else am I picking up in a draft?
Exactly.
Along the way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking Tucker Kraft or Harold Fannin or something like that, you're using a 6th-round pick. That's a serious player. That's a Saquon Barkley. That's a Brian Thomas Jr. That's a Baker Mayfield or maybe Jared Goff. So you're giving up
substantial capital
to get like a Tucker Kraft this year. And like you said, if you can find a guy that puts up that production in the 15th round, then you get a free Saquon Barkley on your team.
Right.
Take that all day.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the Green Bay wide receiver room. So I think the Green Bay offense has a chance of being better than it has been the last couple years. I think 2023 Jordan Love is a possibility. It's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
But who it is that gets those targets, it's totally up in the air, in my opinion. Yeah. Tucker Kraft is probably the number 1 target.
Yeah.
But whoever ends up being the wide receiver 1 in Green Bay is at least startable week to week.
Yes.
And I think whoever ends up being the wide receiver 2 is one of those guys that during the bye weeks, during the injury heavy weeks, you don't mind getting that spot start.
Yep.
So for me, and I know we disagree a little bit on this, so we'll talk it through. But for me, just the cheapest 2, Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks, are the targets. Because I don't see any reason that Jaden Reed couldn't be the wide receiver 1. And once either Reed or Watson goes down with injury, like they always do, Dontavian Wicks could be the wide receiver 2. And Dontavian Wicks is like a 23rd round startup pick.
That's a cheap one.
This is a total throw-in. Jaden Reed's a little more expensive, maybe like a 12th or 13th round pick.
Right.
But you like Golden, so tell me about Golden.
Well, my thing with Golden is twofold. One, Green Bay took him in the first round because they thought he was going to be a difference maker on their team.
Yeah.
Last year, he was not a difference maker on their team. Absolutely lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
That was year 1 of a wide receiver and not a top 10 pick.
Sure.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, not a Jamar Chase.
Not a Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
So I think he's a perfect candidate in my mind of his draft stock, if you're going to start this year, is much lower
than it was
last year with all the hype.
Yep.
And in a similar vein, if you took him high last year and you're sitting there thinking, this guy's a freaking bust, or you don't believe in Jordan Love, or you're looking at this wide receiver room and there's 4 of them in Tucker Kraft, I think Golden can be a trade candidate, like to go out, get him on your team, and I could be dead wrong with it. He could get lost again. I think this is a critical year for Golden.
Sure.
If he goes a whole nother year and he's then...
Yeah, I mean, we've seen first-round wide receiver busts before.
All the time. Just look at the Washington Commanders draft history in the first round, and you'll get a whole list of them. But Green Bay's offense is high enough octane.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it a minute ago, Watson or Reed are going down.
Yeah, they've just never finished seasons.
Never finished seasons. So, in my head, let's go get a Golden while he's cheaper.
Yeah.
While people are either disgruntled or you're in a startup and you can get them in round, this year? I mean,
Yeah, Golden's probably like a 10th round
and last year he was
pick. Late first round rookie draft pick, probably like an 8th round
yeah.
startup pick, 7th or 8th
So
round.
a couple, he's not technically a round 15 beyond or whatever, but
Yeah.
he's a guy whose draft stock has fallen, and I like buying assets when they're low.
Yeah. I mean, he could easily have the breakout year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So that's my thoughts on it. I mean, you mentioned Reed as well, so tell me your thoughts on him.
Well, I think Reed is similarly young. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
more of a gadget player.
Mm-hmm.
So they can scheme up touches for him. He started last year injured, and I just don't think ever really found
Yeah, started
his stride.
injury, and yeah.
But I don't think he's at risk of being displaced by anybody coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Watson could be healthy the whole season, and Jaden Reed could still be the wide receiver one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at with him.
Yeah. What's interesting about all the guys we picked, regression offenses.
Yeah.
And I think that is a key, regardless of who you think your my guy is, or late round guys, or however you want to quote it.
Sure.
Look at teams that have good pieces in place, whether that's the quarterback, the offensive coordinator, the system, whatever you believe that is, that underperformed last year.
Yep.
And because their schedule is going to be more favorable.
Yep.
You have all the right. The Commanders traveled more than any other team last year.
Yeah.
And so it's like, look at a team who caught the injury bug, tough schedule, whatever it is, and it's like, what? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they were hot stuff. What happened? It could have just been a dud year. All those things can.
No, offenses change in the NFL super fast.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the Commanders, 2023 was terrible. 2024 was top 5.
Yep.
2025 was terrible.
Yep.
Dallas is just the opposite.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Miami's offense was the hottest thing ever in 2023. It's been ice cold ever since.
But congratulations to Malik Willis. I want
to, one last shout out to your boy.
If you want to see more shout outs, click some of the previous videos.
Cool.
All right.
From the desk, that's all for tonight, guys.
Appreciate it, guys. See you next time.
See ya.